Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Brian here. How's everyone doing tonight? As you can tell by the title of the video, got a little bit of sad news. Well, depending on who you are. Former New Jersey governor and presidential candidate Chris Christie has suspended his campaign. He suspended his campaign yesterday afternoon. He initially said that he's not going to support people who try to get out. So he's out. You know, I just want to say this. Chris Christie has had a lot of things in the past that have been terrible, that he's done, that have been horrible. He's got some terrible policies, like he continues to want to give money to Ukraine and give weapons to Ukraine. He's got some terrible policies. He's a career politician. He's bought and paid for. I really don't trust him to do a lot of things. He's against a lot of things. But put him up against all the other candidates that ran and are currently still running. He is much better. I mean, he's not better than Bobby Kennedy. I'm strictly talking about the Republican primary. He is only one telling the truth. But unfortunately, the Republican voters don't want to hear the hard truths. Now, maybe it's because it's Chris Christie. I don't know. It could also be because Trump refuses to debate. I mean, if Trump did show up to the debates, and you had 4 debates of Chris Christie and Trump, it could be a much different story right now. It could be, maybe it's just not Chris Christie. Maybe there is an anti-Trump voice out there, but maybe it's not Chris Christie. Maybe it's I'm not sure who it would be. I'm just really not sure. I'm kind of speechless, I'm disappointed in Chris Christie because he did say 3 or 4 times in interviews that he's not suspending his candidacy to the Republican nomination. And there's no way he's getting out of it to the convention. Yeah, that's what he said. He said he could get less than 1% in every state, not get a single delegate, and when there's one state left, he's still going to be a candidate. That came out of Chris Christie's mouth. So I'm disappointed that he gave up like this, I think that he would have got trounced in Iowa. I don't think many people would have showed up to caucus for him. I think he would have got trounced in South Carolina, along with most states. I think the only state where he would have got a fair share of votes in, which he still will because he'll still be on the ballot even though he suspended his candidacy, is New Hampshire. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy made a prediction that since Christie's out, you're going to see Asa Hutchinson drop out, and you're going to also see a Ron DeSantis drop out, and you're going to see Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley team up. That's what the prediction that he made was. Now, I know that this was the goal the entire time. They wanted to get it to a one-on-one field. 2 people left. The candidate that is not Trump and Trump, which is understandable. When there's only one candidate there against Trump, that candidate probably stands the best shot. But still, even then, that candidate's going to lose badly. Donald Trump, listen, polls don't mean nothing, but Donald Trump is 23 points ahead of Nikki Haley in New Hampshire. That's her closest state. He's 45 points ahead of her in her own home state of South Carolina. He's 38 points ahead of it in the Iowa caucus. And all across the country, in Florida, states that matter, and the primary states that don't matter, he is clearly leading. And the Iowa caucus is coming up soon. I just don't see... Yes, it's still early. But I just don't see a path for someone who is not Donald Trump for this nomination. The only way that I see a path for someone who's not Donald Trump for this nomination is that Trump drops out. Or Trump would, something horrible would happen, like he'd pass away, or, would become physically, where he can't mentally understand anymore. Those are the only ways that you're going to see a candidate actually stand a chance. I'm sorry, but as long as Trump is there, I just don't see it. Unfortunately, this is the Republican Party. He's the front runner. The majority of the Republican voters want him. The majority of the American people do not want him, but he's clearly the front runner. And all these candidates that have tried different strategies, the Chris Christie, the clear anti-Trump status, Vivek Ramaswamy trying to kiss his ass, Asa Hutchinson telling the truth sometimes, but then I go back on it, Nikki Haley flip-flopping, trying to please everybody, Ron DeSantis talking about his freedom, which is kind of flip-flopping still, but none of it's worked. There's not it's not even like they're in striking range of 3, 4, 5 points. They're losing. And they're losing badly. Now listen, I always say this, polls mean nothing, votes mean everything. And these things could change drastically, even in the next few days they could. But I just don't see it happening. I just think that Trump has such a command over this party and has so many people convinced that he's the best guy to do it. And also with all these other candidates like Nikki Haley and DeSantis and Vivek Ramaswamy, who are not likable, I just don't see it happening. Now, there's been times where, Trojan horse candidates have come out of nowhere and taken down primaries. Like, for example, back in 2008, it was going to be Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee. She was there to do it. She was the front runner. She was clearly ahead. Well, this candidate, Barack Obama, came out of nowhere, and he ended up winning. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen in this election. I don't think it's going to happen in this election, but you've had that. You go back to 1980, there was big talks that Gerald Ford was going to run for president again. He didn't do it. But, Ronald Reagan probably would have beat him if he would have ran. Going back to even, 2020, there was a point when Bernie Sanders was, being predicted to be the next nominee for the Democratic Party. And then you will also look at Jeb Bush and Scott Walker in 2016, one of those two are going to be nominee. I don't see that happening. It's just, things are just not going the right way. I'm not saying it's any much better for the Democrats, because, the Democrats are doing even worse. I'll make a video on that, but it's disappointing. Oh, an RFK video is got uploaded to YouTube. I'll have to check that out. It's disappointing that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party have both become the party of cultism. Now, I'm not saying anyone who's in these parties are cults. I'm saying simply the candidates are. The Republicans refuse to drop Trump, the establishment. The Democrats refuse to drop Biden. And where is this? Now, I think what Chris Christie should do, I think he should endorse Bobby Kennedy, even though I know they have some drastically different policies and stuff, but I just think he should, because I just don't see a path. And people are making predictions. I think if Christie does end up endorsing a candidate, I don't think it's going to be Nikki Haley. In all honesty, I think it's going to be Ron. It's just got to see how it plays out. This might help Nikki Haley a little bit. This could also might help Ron DeSantis a little bit, because you remember before Chris Christie entered the race, that's when he was polling pretty high. So I think a lot of his supporters are going to go to DeSantis, because at least DeSantis once in a while will go at Trump, very, very minorly, not like on a serious level, but at least he'll do it sometimes where Nikki Haley never does it. This is disappointing. But you know what, Chris Christie, I wish you the best of luck in retirement. I'm assuming, he's in his 60s. Sad to say, but maybe if Bobby Kennedy becomes president, he'll offer you a cabinet position. I doubt Chris Christie would take it, but this is sad. Now, many people are going to start asking, "Oh, Brian, who do you want to get the Republican nomination?" Now, listen, I'm not supporting any of the Republicans. I even said this when Chris Christie was still running, that I'm not supporting him. I want Bobby Kennedy to win the presidency. But I would say out of the ones that are left, I'm going to have to go with DeSantis. Now, listen, this is not an endorsement to him in any way, shape, or form. I'm not planning on voting for him in any way, shape, or form, or doing anything for him. But out of the options that are left, DeSantis. Nikki Haley is the equivalent of bought and paid for and a flip-flopper. And Vivek Ramaswamy is an ass-kisser. And Asa Hutchinson is willing to answer some tough questions, but not willing to answer other tough questions. So, yeah. Not to mention Trump, who just sucks in general. But yeah, Chris Christie's out. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. Alright, everyone, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I always appreciate your support. 88 subs. Thank you so much. Please keep it up. As always, please like this video. Please share this video. Please leave a comment on this video. Favorite this video. And, most importantly, please subscribe to the channel. Alright, everyone. Thanks for watching. Stay true to who you are and never give up. God bless you all.